So, hi, Patty. This is Shane. If you want to introduce yourself and introduce your friend there with you and tell us a little bit about what you're going to do this morning, and then go ahead and get started.
Sure. My name's Patty Brown. I'm the director at the Haines Public Library, and with me today is Reba Heaton. She's the assistant director. She's also been working as our IT aide for the OWL program, which we've started to do several programs just recently with that position. Part of what we'd like to talk about today is how we've gotten community involvement with our video conferencing equipment and some of the programs that we've been doing. And some of that programming has also expanded to other libraries that were interested in the programs that we've been offering. Mostly what I want to say is this is going to be informal. So at any time if people have questions, we'd like you to stop us and ask any questions that you have. And are you, I guess, yeah?
Yeah. That's you, I think, echoing.
We're echoing back to ourselves right now. So
Turn the TV volume down.
That's why, like, when we're not speaking, just mute those mics.
And this volume up.
and that volume up.
This is maxed out. Okay. So go ahead.
So what I thought I'd first talk about a little bit is some of the programs that got other people involved. And the first thing that we did was our OWL launch. And quite honestly, it wasn't as if we started with, sometimes it's a creative process. It wasn't as if we started with a detailed plan. We actually sat down at a staff meeting with all of the library staff and started talking about what we'd like to do for the OWL launch. And the ideas jumped from there. Somebody said, wouldn't it be great if we could have live owls so that we were able to have a program along with the launch of the OWL equipment and the OWL broadband that we've been using. And that was really, it was totally a creative process. Everybody got excited and every single staff person had a part of that. So I thought I'd show you a couple pictures from that, if I can figure out how to do this.
Just go ahead and open your thumb drive.
Here.
The computer over on the left and hit computer.
See, usually
Over here, yeah.
Over here, I can even see this.
And then removable disk. Double click. And then find your folder.
And we'll show them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you can make that bigger by clicking on that square.
Hey, some of these things I The picture isn't. So now I'm curious, are you able to see that photo okay? I'm not getting any response. So this, what we started with then was, how can we be creative and actually have a program and talk about the OWL video conferencing equipment and the other equipment we've gotten through this shared grant funding, and everyone on staff took part. So one person started with, how about if we get some live owls? And we went to the Eagle Foundation, and they actually have a youth raptor program, and we asked them if they would like to come and do their presentation for us during that program. So they brought their live owls, but in addition to that, while we were planning, other staff members were chosen to do the decorations basically and create the theme. And we have a Christmas holiday that happens, and we dug through the previous Christmas themes, and it happened to be that there were a number of owls, so we hung those owls in the tree branches that we brought in from outside, and that actually was Rebecca's part. She had that part in that. And then our children's librarian invited all of the Storytime members to join her in stories about owls and other raptors. And that was how we created the theme. It really was actually an informal process, but it's a team process. It's collaborative. Somebody has an idea and we all try to figure out a way to be part of it and to make it fun. Everything that, I think a big part of anything that you do, what you want to say is, how can we have some fun here? So here was the crowd of people we had during that. Rebecca, you can add anything at any time.
Well, somewhere you have Holly doing her birthday.
I know.
Okay.
I'm not sure where. It's one of these, maybe.
Yeah.
So there's our children's librarian telling that story. I think that's about it for the owl. So that was the beginning of us trying to find shared. But in the midst of that, we have a program, an education coordinator, and she actually wasn't able to be here today, but she's the person who then pursued and made sure we were able to organize with an outside group besides people within the library. So it does become a number of people that make it happen. But I do have to say, we all got very excited about it. This was our way of having something fun happen in the library, and it draws in different people and different age groups when you use everyone on staff to make something like that happen. So then the next thing, to me, it was also another process where it wasn't as if we started with one plan, but it was a creative process that happened together. We have done existing programs for now, I would say 3 years, that once a month we have a cultural program. And we partner with the Chilkoot Indian Association for those programs. And what we found was the programs were most successful if we always had them on the same night every month. And in the process of that, one of the programs, one of our speakers said, I'm not going to be able to be here. So can you find somebody else? And what we asked where she was, and she said she was in Juneau. So we called the Juneau Library and said, would she be able to use your video conferencing equipment so that we could still have her be part of this program? And that was actually how that connection started. It was a way of saying, how can we still make this happen? And how do we develop a process so we just don't stop? Let's put it that way. You keep communicating so that you're able to do the programs that you want to do. So that particular program, the first one that happened, actually was with the Juneau Public Library. And so this is a picture of that event. We had a presenter here, and the other, Marsha Hotch, was in Juneau, and the two libraries got together and we made that particular program happen. From that, and this is to me the exciting part of it, from that we are continuing to do those monthly cultural programs, and between Wrangell and Juneau and Haines, we are taking turns hosting them. But it still is, cultural days or cultural night at the library. And all three libraries have, they've chosen a month where they have the presenters come. And that again was people following up and communicating with one another and finding ways to make it successful for all of us. And I'm looking for the latest, just to give you an idea. Here's some of the other things that have been shared programs. The latest one that's coming up is hosted by the Juneau Public Library, but it's still with, through the video conferencing equipment, but it's what we're still calling our cultural programs at the library every month. So that has been really exciting to me, for us to be able to use the equipment and actually share presenters, because then we're all able to get different information and exposure to different people, but continue to do what we've been trying to do, which is highlight a lot of the cultural traditions of our local. We actually have story time and preschool going on right now, so we're hearing a lot of noise in our background. Now, the other thing that we thought we'd share is how we market it and how we get other people involved. And one of the things with all of our programs is we found that if we use a consistent layout, and I showed you one of those, but people know that it's coming from the library. So we always use this particular layout where it's bordered, and we have the logo down at the bottom, either at the bottom or the top. So I'll show you a couple of those so you see. people will recognize in the midst of all the other things that this is at the library because we use a consistent layout in our advertising approach. We also make sure, besides the flyers, that we do radio public service announcements. For larger programs, we put ads in the newspapers, and we also pay for an advertisement on the radio. But I think a lot of times it's word of mouth. People will ask us at the front desk, and everyone then is aware of what the program is, and they're able to share what those things are about. So a couple other examples that the way the video conference equipment has been used, we've also had our museum director take a class with 4 Acre, and after she did that, just a small business class and budgeting, after she joined that class, she also registered her board members to do a board training with 4 Acre, and they were able to do that. It was something they said they would not have been able to do if we hadn't had the video conferencing equipment. There was no way they could all afford to go to Anchorage. So they were able to participate in that board training with 4 Acre from the library. And after she shared that, I know I have a couple pictures of that as well somewhere. That's not it. That's another one of our cultural programs, so I don't have that one listed. What do you think? There, that's, after she was able to participate with 4 Acre, then she felt like the board training was essential, and all of the board members have mentioned to me how valuable that was to them. And in the process, she was sharing that with our mayor, who then came to us for being able to participate in some of the legislative sessions. And so we were able to dial in and be part of a couple of the sessions on the Southeast Alaska Ferry System. And again, that became word of mouth. And she's so excited about that. We are actually looking at the library becoming the Legislative Information Office, or partnering with our legislature to be able to offer that service and that information to the public. So sometimes I think it's word of mouth and sharing what you have, and then it's also going to the organizations in your communities and asking what you can do for them, rather than trying to think up an idea that you hope would draw them in. I think sometimes we need to ask them what we can do for them, and how the equipment that we have and the resources we have could benefit their organizations. And that is actually what makes a lot of this successful. Okay, Rebecca, you got anything to add? The other program that happened, and this actually came from the Homer Public Library, they called us and asked if we could set up with the video conferencing equipment for an author, Heather Lendy from Haines, to be part of their Friends of the Library Writing in Remembrance program. And so when they asked, to book that with us, what we asked is if we could also offer it as a program from here. So I think this particular program, Heather had participants from Haines, writers from Haines, writers from Homer, and there was one other community I think that was involved. But the initiative for that actually came from the Friends group from Homer. So that was also another way to use the video conferencing equipment and share presenters and share our resources without people having to travel. And that was very successful, and people have talked about doing it again. And Heather was happy to do it that way. She said it was fun to be able to meet with people from different places in the state and offer writing projects and writing advice. And this is actually they sent us their flyer that they were putting out, and then we were able to have the same flyer in the other communities that participated. So now I'm wondering if anybody has any questions about anything that we've done, or if there's, or if you have some thoughts about things that you've done in your own library, or any things that we might be able to answer or offer to you.
This is Kathy Libby from Kenny Lake. You did a music program on Tuesday night.
How did that go?
One sec, I'm going to try to get more volume.
Oh, you can't hear.
The music program last night.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, tell them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We can hear you now.
Can you close out your
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
We can actually, I can do this. Make it go away.
Thank you. There you go. Yay. You had a music program on Tuesday night. How did you set that up? How did that go?
Oh, that was, we have never video conferenced that before. We have on occasion had music in the stacks, which is what we call it, and generally it's one musician who plays a guitar or a concertina or a piano playing softly, and people just mill around going about their business, doing their own things. And they'll wander in and watch, but mostly it's just for them to have a pleasant hour at the library with a little background music. But we thought as a way to show other libraries how it works, we kind of made it a little more formal with people coming in and sitting. Generally, they were people that were in the library who wandered in when they heard the music, rather than some people coming in for a concert. And to set it up, generally you'll find that the artists in your area, the one thing they want to do is sing and play. So you just invite them. And they'll let them know that they need 45 minutes to an hour of music to perform, and they'll come. They're happy to do it. That's what musicians want to do. They don't want to sing to themselves. They want to sing to other people or, play. And once with this one, it was a little more complex because it was an ensemble, and there was the harmonica player who needed a mic, and the vocalist, two vocalists who needed a mic, and they both played guitars, which needed mics. So it was a little more complicated than what you might want to do. If you guys wanted to do it the way we normally do it, all you need is a musician, their instrument, and a chair. And if you wanted to video conference it, of course, put them in front of the camera. But it really was usually a lot more simple than it looked when we had it last night. The people really enjoyed it, and it's funny because we didn't just get thanked by the listeners, we get thanked by the artists who get to perform. So everyone's grateful. It's a fun thing to do, too. It gives a different atmosphere to the library. In fact, the staff bickers about that because they want it on a day they're working, so they can get too. So did that answer your question?
Oh, yes, thank you.
I have a related question about that. Where did you video conference to? Who else was participating in other locations?
This one we didn't have because it was the first. Well,
Matt could answer.
Yeah, that's true. Matt could answer that one. All we saw on the camera was Fairbanks, which I'm thinking is just maybe the owl people. I don't know. So it didn't go out over the line very well, but that was probably we kind of had last minute publication because the guy we were talking to, he couldn't do it. And so then we kind of just grabbed the Heidi hose and rammed him in, and we didn't advertise until we got a confirmation from an artist, and it was kind of last minute, and I wasn't able to really push. I wanted to get out there a little bit about the Heidi hose, because when you know that you're going to hear harmonica solos, I mean, I think that's pretty cool. And then Tom Haywood is really something on the guitar, and he was doing he did a few almost solos, and I think it was our fault that we just didn't get the word out well enough in advance, because we have to advertise to you in time for you to actually advertise to your public. So it kind of has to be a big lead time. So it wasn't well attended by the outlying areas simply because we didn't get the word out soon enough, would be my guess.
But could people
we were all here.
I was going to say, could people have looked on the calendar and seen it, and this is Asia, and seen that it was open and requested to join in if they looked at the calendar?
Yes, it was on the calendar. Shane had put it on, and he had also sent out, and he sent out an email letting everyone know that it was coming, and also he sent out a follow-up email because the artist changed the time of the event, not the day, but the time. And so there were 2 emails that went out on the subject, right? But still kind of last minute. And then I saw in the back, I don't know your name, but in the blue shirt, the jacket.
Anisha Elby, hi. Anisha Elby from South Naknek Library. I had a question on, you mentioned that you did legislative sessions, and so can you tell a little bit on the process of how you went about setting that up and doing it, because that's on.
Well, you know, actually, to use the video conferencing equipment, you're not speaking to them, but you can watch it. So you log on to the Alaska State, and now I'm trying to remember, it's Alaska State TV. I'm sorry, I should have written that down. And they have it set up, and you can see what bills they're discussing. And with teleconferencing equipment or with a telephone with a speaker, you can actually sign up ahead of time to be part of those discussions. And so the initial one that we had, people were just listening to the discussion that was happening. After that,
and they were emailing.
And they were emailing. But after that, they realized that they could sign up ahead of time and actually be part of the discussion. And some of it was a little bit delayed, but those are things that the state legislature actually has available to everyone. And you can see it on the screens that you're using with your video conferencing equipment. And after we've done that twice now, they really want us to set it up on a regular basis during the session so people can be part of any bill that's being discussed at the time.
Is this for hearings on the bills where they're accepting
Exactly.
testimony?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Patty, can you send the information, what the link was, or the how people can get a hold of the state TV so that they can access that? If you would send that out, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, sure.
I also had another question. You mentioned 4-acre training. Do they do a VTC on a regular basis, or was this a special one-time thing?
No, somebody else may Asia, you might be able to speak to that even better than myself, but they have regular classes and training set up. And we just, we worked with the OWL staff to make sure that 4-acre, that everything connected well through the video conferencing equipment. So it really was the museum staff that set those things up with 4-acre initially.
Okay, thank you.
Well, my name is Sharon Abels, and I'm from Glennallen, and you have to be members, so you sign up, it's $100 a year, and you get those trainings at a reduced rate. Most of them cost, and we've done, now at this point, we've done about 4 of them. Most of them are by teleconferencing, but a few of them are by video conferencing, and we have some grant training ones set up for the end of March and the 1st of April. We're going to do a grant. They're going to teach us how to write grants. And so it was $50 per member, and it cost us about $250 for the whole 2 sessions. So that's something that's really pretty neat. What is that? Click, give, and pick. They are doing a number of those.
Right.
And I'm going to do the one that's coming up soon. And those are free. There's a number of them they do free.
Yeah, and I think for the museum board training, for the museum board training, each board member paid $20 to 4-acre. For the class that the the museum director participated in, she just was able to participate in it. It was a class that was happening in Anchorage, and as an individual, she was able to participate in the class. So some of the things they charge for and some they don't, but they have a calendar that people can tie into. And again, I thank our OWL IT people for helping us do each of these things. We go, hey, wouldn't this be a great idea? And we call them. So we have to appreciate that help us make all these things happen. Yeah, so.
Yeah, and if, just to add a little bit, the connection with Parada Group is pretty good. We had some issues with Haines 2 times when they participated in the museum board training and when it was the original training. There were some issues, but I believe we worked them out by now, and we have contact of their IT staff, so if things happen, we can fix it for you. So if you decide to sign up for something with 4acre, just submit a regular video conferencing request like it usually do, and we'll have it set up for you.
I guess the other thing I would...
Away.
I thought so. We recognized your voice, Artem. Nice to meet you. He's been a great help. I mean, every time we would, change things, or we would wonder why our video conferencing was kind of cutting out or was delayed, he really helped us solve all those issues. So we appreciate it. But for everybody else, what I would really suggest is if you have existing programs that are successful at your library, those are a lot of times the kinds of things that other libraries would like to participate in. And we really feel like our cultural programs that have become a once a month, well, it's just a regular program, we continually have a lot of response to those, anywhere from 25 to 50. And it really is local interest, so it's been really fun for us to be able to see that other people in Southeast Alaska have wanted to be able to participate in that as well, and it also has expanded our resources for presenters. So it's almost like we started with something we already had that was working successfully. So if you have programs that are successful for you, we would like to be able to know we could tie in to be part of those as well, and I think other libraries would feel the same way. And the other thing that has started to happen more in Haines is people have now realized that this is what they can use for distance education. And I feel like, well, there was a little while where we were feeling like we were getting overbooked, both our spaces and who could use the video conferencing equipment when. And that's exciting as well to me. It really is. The more people understand what it can be used for, the more it is going to get used. It's a wonderful thing for us to have in Alaska.
Yeah,
Yes,
I've got a
Asia.
question. Are people asking to use your equipment outside of your regular library hours? And if so, how are you handling that? We talked a little bit about policies here. I'm wondering, what your policies are that way.
Well, I don't know that we have had.
We haven't yet.
No,
Not yet.
we are open 56 hours a week, so it's not as likely that it's happening outside of our, our open hours. In the last 2 months or 3 months, we've actually been closing at 7 rather than at 9, and that may be a complicated things for some people, but we haven't yet had to deal with that, Asia, so much. And honestly, if we have something that happens when it's outside of library hours, then we have to charge them for staff time, for a staff person to be here with them. And that's that's a charge for the group to be able to use the equipment at that time.
Are some of your open hours open by volunteers and not just paid staff?
The evening hours are open by volunteers. So from 5 to 9, it's volunteer hours. Yeah, we have about 92 volunteers that help with a variety of things.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really it's a community organization. It is, and it's backed by the community, and I think everybody feels like it's theirs, and they're happy to see all of the resources that we're able to offer. But anything else? I don't know that. You have anything else, Rebecca?
No, I'm good.
How many of you have? I have.
This is your chance.
How many
They're
people are?
wonderful. Ask them.
How many people are in libraries where you're the only person? Or there's just. Yeah, that's what I figured. A lot of people are. You're the staff person, right? You're the everything for the library. Well, and I started to think about that. See, we sit down at our staff meetings and get creative about things, and I would recommend that you go out and find your super volunteer. We have 1 or 2 people that we call our super volunteers, and we actually rely on them. If there's somebody that really that loves your library and loves what you would do, I would start trying to tie into them as a super volunteer to help you make some of these things happen. Don't you agree,
Yes,
Rebecca?
yeah, I can imagine. Let Nell know.
Patty?
Yes. Yes.
Patty, my name's Christy Depew. I'm from Eagle. I did have a question with your cultural presentations monthly. Are you allowing other libraries to join in on those through the video conferencing equipment?
Yeah.
Have you been advertising those?
You know, I think they're on the OWL calendar. I see. This is where, oops, Yolanda's not here. I don't know. No, I'm sorry. That's our education coordinator. But that actually, they've been part of the OWL calendar recently. I think initially it became a discussion just between, it happened with Juneau and us. And after we did it once, the Juneau Library, it was when Jonas was there, he said, how can we make this happen together every month? And then Wrangell joined in. So certainly we'd be happy to have other people be part of that. We can make sure we put it on the OWL calendar.
So your next one is the 28th? Is that what I saw on your little
Actually, our
blurb earlier?
next one is the 21st, tomorrow. And it's part 2 of a program that happened, and it's part of a project that we're doing talking about Tlingit place names. So a local anthropologist is talking more about, basically the value of place names and the stories that we know and hear behind those. So that's tomorrow night, and then next week on Thursday, we're also doing one connected with Juneau Public Libraries. And that is with our Alaska Writer Laureate. So that should be, we can certainly open that up. Right, Matt and Artem, we can certainly let other libraries in on that. Well,
Yep,
look at
definitely.
their Thank you.
And let us know, because the conference today, and it starts at 5:45. If your communities are interested or anybody else interested, just shoot us an email, because we're out of the office. So.
Okay, thank you.
I'm looking at one of the questions that was initially asked. How do we get people to attend? And how are ideas conceived? And I really think ideas aren't conceived in a vacuum. It really is bouncing them off of other people, and that's how they grow and become successful. Each one of us might have an idea, but it really becomes a better and bigger idea when it's more than one person involved. And everyone has some stake in what's happening. And we often include our board members and our Friends of the Library board in some of the ideas and planning that we have. So I think collaboration and communication are key to the success of a lot of things. And when we're asking how do we get people to attend, I think it's hard ever to know. Every time you do a program, you just never know. I'd say go ahead and try the program anyway. The success of our cultural programs, I really think it became the consistency of people knowing when they were happening. It wasn't as if every time we did one, we picked a date out of the blue. We made it consistent, and we made our flyers consistent, so people started to look for those events. And I think that's the same thing that could happen with the music in the stacks. You really become consistent about when that happens, so people start to look forward to it rather than trying to remember when we maybe pick a date out of the blue. And those would be my other two things that I would recommend. So, are there any other questions? Any other suggestions for us?
Well, actually, I was going to mention that on the question of how to get people to attend and who's going to attend, we have something coming up next month on the 28th, where we tapped into, the state bought, tell me where they bought it from, what it's called, the classes, reams of classes.
They know.
Oh, you guys know about it. Right, okay. And we tied into one called, I think someone in Alaska did it, Robot Garage. That's where the Museum of Flight in Seattle actually sends robot kits, and they talk for 40 minutes and instruct for 40 minutes, and then the attendees have 2 hours to build a robot. I think it's pretty cool. And I selected it with the intent that men will come. I'm trying to, get, I call it men of a certain age to attend more events at the library. And but what I'm hearing is I'm hearing a lot of women and kids saying that wow, I want to come to that. And so really, it's hard to predict. I'm thinking men, I'm thinking I'm going to get women and children.
Depends on your audience, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes. So my question is, I saw that, but it's full, and so you can't sign up for it. But they sent you kits.
They'll send us kits.
Okay, they'll send you kits. And how much did they cost?
Well, the kits are, they ship them for free to us. We have to ship them back. And she told me her experience is from Alaska, if you ordered, say you want all 35 kits, they'll send as many as 35. Shipping back is $103. I emailed her back and said, can students buy the kits if they want? And she said no one has ever asked that question. So she's going to get back to me with the answer, if they can, and how much it would be. But the short of it is, your cost would be $103, and I've yet to ask if that gets covered by the grant or if that comes out of the library's pocket. I don't know the answer to that question. But the date I had originally asked for was full, and they gave me an alternative date, and that worked for us. Yeah, so you can find out what another date from them, because I know I'm building me a robot.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay. So I have no more to add.
I think maybe we've run out of questions.
Okay.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I just want to say if you do another music thing, definitely sign up. I just didn't because I was here and couldn't get a volunteer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll definitely advertise it sooner. We're going to try to, like the cultural program, we're going to try to make it a regular, always on the same day of the week, of the same week of the month, if you get what I'm trying to say. It'll be a Tuesday or a Thursday, most likely. But yeah, we'll advertise it at least a month ahead.
And then we can share our flyers, so you can just, we'll email it to you, and you can post it wherever you need to post it. So,
in a format that you can edit.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. That sounds lovely.
Yes, you're welcome.
Choose Thursdays.
Oh, okay. See, that's what I'm saying. People bicker. Okay.
Thursdays are just our busiest day. Yeah.
That's true. In fact, I was today we stayed open because of it. Yeah.
So, Shane or Asia, do you need anything else from us? You want us to
go and get them. Everybody stepped out of the room.
They all stepped out of the room? Well, I can keep talking if you want. I can click through all of my photos.
You can tell us what you had for breakfast, Patty.
I usually forget to have breakfast. Okay.
Shane and Sue said it would be a good time for a break if you guys want one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Thank you all. And enjoy your video conferencing equipment. It's great.